LeBron James might smile for the cameras when talking about Kawhi Leonard, but behind closed doors the truth is far more complicated. Reports claim that LeBron directly confronted Kawhi over a $28 million fraud scandal, a confrontation that not only threatens Kawhi's reputation but could shake the very foundation of the NBA. This isn't just a story about one player cashing a questionable check. It's about whether the NBA's rules mean anything when billionaires and superstars find ways to move money in the shadows. The story begins with a company called Aspiration Incorporated, founded in 2013. It branded itself as a green bank that promised to plant trees and fight climate change. Celebrities like Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert Downey Jr., and Drake jumped on board. At its peak, the company was valued at $2.3 billion. But prosecutors now say Aspiration was a full-scale fraud machine, a Ponzi-style operation that lied to investors, forged documents, and siphoned hundreds of millions into the pockets of its founders. By 2025, the company collapsed into bankruptcy. And buried inside those bankruptcy documents? Kawhi Leonard. According to investigative journalist Pablo Torre, Aspiration quietly signed a 4-year $28 million endorsement contract with Kawhi back in April 2022. On paper, it was supposed to be a marketing deal. In reality, Kawhi never mentioned Aspiration publicly. Not once. Not in an interview, not in a commercial, not even a casual Instagram post. Think about that. DiCaprio earned $57 million promoting the brand. Robert Downey Jr. got $68 million. Even Drake collected $5 million. They all appeared in ads, campaigns, or events. Kawhi? He got $28 million and didn't lift a finger. Former Aspiration employees later admitted it openly. Kawhi didn't have to do anything. His uncle and business manager Dennis Robertson, known to fans as Uncle Dennis, demanded payment. And the company, desperate to keep its ties with Clippers owner Steve Ballmer, made sure Kawhi got paid. This is where the scandal explodes. Ballmer personally invested $50 million into Aspiration just weeks before the Clippers announced a massive $300 million sponsorship with the company. Months later, Kawhi's shell company, KL2 Aspire LLC, was created and suddenly he was on the payroll. The math isn't hard to follow. Ballmer's money went into Aspiration. Aspiration funneled millions into Kawhi's pockets. And hidden deep in the contract was a clause that ended the deal if Kawhi ever left the Clippers. In other words, this wasn't just an endorsement. It looked like a salary cap workaround, designed to keep Kawhi happy without it showing up on the books. LeBron James has seen salary cap gymnastics before. But this was different. This was direct money tied to ownership, tied to fraud, tied to the credibility of the league. Sources say LeBron confronted Kawhi during a private off-season workout in Los Angeles. Witnesses described it as one of the most tense player-to-player encounters in years. LeBron allegedly walked up to Kawhi and said, "You took money you weren't supposed to take. You know that, right?" Kawhi's response? Silence. The same silence that has defined his career. But this time, silence looked less like calm and more like guilt. And it gets worse. Bankruptcy filings revealed there wasn't just the $28 million cash contract. Kawhi allegedly had a side deal for $20 million in Aspiration stock options, pushing his total haul close to $48 million. Nearly the exact same amount Ballmer had invested just months before. Coincidence? Or the smoking gun of a carefully orchestrated scheme? Uncle Dennis once again was at the center. He was listed as the official representative for Kawhi's LLC. And for rival teams already suspicious after Kawhi's free agency drama in 2019, this looked like proof that improper perks had finally crossed the line. The fallout has been brutal. Aspiration is dead, its founders indicted. Federal prosecutors describe it as a Ponzi scheme built on fake numbers and empty promises. But in the ashes, Kawhi's contract still sits there, his shell company listed as a creditor owed millions. The NBA has now hired the same law firm that investigated Donald Sterling and Robert Sarver. Commissioner Adam Silver has said before that salary cap circumvention is a red line. If investigators prove the Clippers knowingly participated, the punishments could be catastrophic: fines, loss of draft picks, suspensions, even the voiding of Kawhi's contract. For Kawhi, a player once respected for his quiet focus and no-drama approach, the optics are devastating. He built his reputation as the anti-LeBron, humble, detached, uninterested in the spotlight. But now, instead of the man who drove the same old Tahoe and avoided endorsements, Kawhi looks like the superstar who pocketed $28 million in dirty checks while saying nothing. LeBron, on the other hand, has emerged as the conscience of the league. For 2 decades, every decision he's made has been dissected: his contracts, his teammates, his politics. He's faced endless criticism, but never once has he been accused of taking fraudulent money. That's the line he refuses to let anyone cross. And that's why his confrontation with Kawhi matters. It wasn't just about one superstar pressing another. It was about the league itself. About fairness, trust, and competition. Because if billionaires can funnel money through shell companies to keep stars in place, then the NBA's salary cap becomes a joke. And if fans stop believing in the system, the league risks becoming nothing more than scripted entertainment. The Kawhi Leonard scandal isn't over. Investigations are ongoing. Lawsuits are piling up. And Adam Silver's next move could reshape the NBA for a generation. But one thing is already clear: this is the biggest controversy since the Tim Donaghy betting scandal. Kawhi's silence may protect him in the short term, but long term, it could define him as the face of a $28 million fraud scheme. And when history looks back, it won't just remember the scandal. It'll remember the confrontation: LeBron James staring down Kawhi Leonard, demanding answers and refusing to let silence win.